There are pros and cons to every type of vacation, including cruising. Those who love cruises are typically repeat cruisers when it comes to vacation planning. And for good reason. Cruises are very affordable, relaxing, and convenient. You'll get to see multiple countries and cities without even having to unpack your suitcase. Others might argue, though, that they feel trapped on a ship, and they might also worry about seasickness. Also, there's not as much flexibility, and onboard expenses can add up quickly. So, are cruises worth it? That ultimately depends entirely on what kind of vacation you're looking for and how you like to travel. Let's break down the pros and cons of cruising. First, ultimate convenience. One of the most convenient perks about cruising is being able to unpack your suitcase one time while still visiting multiple destinations. There's plenty of storage within cabins to utilize space, so you don't need to worry about repacking until the cruise is over. Also, everything you need to have a fabulous vacation is found in one place when you cruise. Your hotel, transportation, entertainment, and food is all located on board. There's very little logistic planning that needs to be done when you cruise. Once you're on board, you can get comfortable in your cabin for the duration of the cruise. Your cruise ship is a giant floating hotel, so there's no need to lug around your baggage from place to place. Next, seeing multiple places. If you tend to get restless staying in one spot for vacation, then you should seriously consider cruising. Your itinerary will visit multiple places, making it very easy to see lots of new countries and cities. You'll get a taste of different cultures, and you'll find plenty of variety when you cruise. This can be a huge advantage, especially for places that can be traditionally difficult to visit. Next, all-inclusive style. When you're on a cruise, pretty much everything is already included in your cruise fare. Apart from your lodging and transportation, the cruise fare includes delicious food, amazing entertainment, and tons of activities. Foodies will love the large variety and high quality of food available. Families with kids will appreciate all of the onboard thrills available too, especially on bigger cruise ships. Guests of all ages will be wowed by entertainment available. With so much already included in your basic cruise fare, this truly creates an all-inclusive atmosphere on board. Of course, there are plenty of ways to spend money on board and in port, but the basic cruise fare is still very all-inclusive. You can have as much as you want at dinner without worrying about racking up a huge bill. Next, affordable travel. One of the reasons that I love to cruise is because it's very affordable. You can find cruises that are as cheap as $40 to $50 per day. When you consider this includes food, transportation, lodging, it's hard to find another vacation that's equally as affordable. I've found that all-inclusive resorts are sometimes double the price of cruising, although they offer a fairly similar experience in my opinion. Even as a college student on a tight budget, my now husband and I found cruises to be way cheaper than independent travel. We were able to see multiple countries and have a safe, comfortable place to come back to each night. While you can find dirt cheap accommodations in certain places, coming back to your cozy cabin each night is both comforting and very reliable. Next, plenty of relaxation. Because cruises are so convenient, you have very little to worry about. There are tons of flexibility and free time when you cruise because everything's taken care of. You don't have to worry about where to eat or how to get to your next destination. Parents don't need to worry about finding activities or entertainment for their kids. You can rest easy knowing that the crew wants to pamper you and ensure you have a wonderful experience. If you like to have a packed vacation with nonstop activities, you can book your days full of fun, both on board and in port. Those who prefer to kick back and do very little planning will find cruises equally as worthwhile. You can do as little as you want or as much as you want. This is also a reason why cruising with a bigger group works well. Everyone can find a balance that works best for them on their vacation. The final pro, high quality food and entertainment. Another reason that I love cruising is all the high quality food and entertainment available on board. While visiting different ports and spending the day exploring, it's so nice to feel pampered when you come back on the ship. With so much food available, there's always something new and exciting to try. As major foodies, my husband and I feel like we're eating like royalty when we cruise. Gourmet dining and multi-course meals aren't in our normal routine, so this makes our vacation feel extra special. The entertainment is also incredible on a cruise ship. Some of the bigger and newer ships even have Broadway musicals like Grease and Mamma Mia. Entertainment can also include ice skating performances and aqua theater shows with high divers and synchronized swimmers. You can also expect to see comedians, acrobats, jugglers, singers, dancers, and more. Now, we'll move into some cons of cruising. First up, choppy seas. Since your cruise ship is indeed sailing on the ocean, you can expect to be subject to choppy waters sometimes. Weather can be unpredictable and it can change at a moment's notice. Most newer ships are designed to mitigate motion, but those with sensitive stomachs might not appreciate the ship rocking. Packing Dramamine is always on my list for cruising, since there's nothing worse than feeling nauseous on your vacation. Choppy seas can be a huge bummer, especially if the crew decides to close the top deck. You can't forget that you are on a moving vessel in the ocean. This doesn't happen often, but should be considered when deciding if a cruise is right for you. Next, you have limited time in port. Seeing a variety of ports can be a pro for many cruisers, but only having a limited time at each stop is usually a con for others. The ship normally arrives in the new port in the morning, between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m., and departs later in the evening. You might also need to be tendered to the port from the ship, which cuts into your time on land. This means you can't see much more in the city than the basic highlights on a day tour. Those who like to be immersed in a city's culture might feel this is a little bit lackluster while cruising. Some itineraries will feature longer port stays than others. It's actually becoming increasingly more popular to have multiple days in port. Cruise lines are trying to accommodate these cruising wishes. One example is offering a late stay in Santorini, Greece, so that cruisers can catch the incredibly beautiful sunset on the Greek island. You can also find sailings with overnight stays in certain ports, like a Holy Land itinerary. Next, you have lack of control. Once you step on board a cruise ship, you are at the mercy of the cruise line and the captain's decision-making. Your itinerary can be changed at any time, which is highlighted in the contract you sign when booking your reservation. Prior to the pandemic, it was pretty rare to have a huge itinerary change. However, the pandemic is still causing some last-minute itinerary changes. You don't have control of the cruise ship's sailing schedule. If the ship is departing port by 7 p.m., you will need to be on board when the cruise line requires it. If you aren't back in time, you'll miss the ship and you can expect to wave goodbye from the port as it leaves you behind. Ultimately, you don't have the freedom to stay in the port and explore at your own pace. Next, expensive tours, internet, and alcohol. Although your basic cruise fare is very inclusive, most cruise lines do not include port tours, internet, or alcohol on board. This means you'll need to pay for each of these a la carte if you want to have access to these amenities. This is the case for most cruise lines, but not always. For example, Celebrity Cruises has moved to an all-inclusive pricing to include unlimited drinks and internet. Also, certain loyalty programs will include perks for returning cruisers. Those who like to drink on vacation will probably want to purchase a beverage package with unlimited alcohol. Internet is available as a daily charge or package, even though it's often kind of slow. New ships have integrated higher speed internet though, which is a welcome change. The high price of shore excursions can also offset the affordability of cruising. These are very convenient options that are operated in accordance with the cruise line, and they usually ensure that you will not miss the ship if your tour is running late. The shore excursions offered through the cruise line are usually more expensive than independent tours because of this convenience and ensured safety. Finally, bigger ships equals more people. Cruise lines are building bigger and better mega ships that can hold thousands of passengers. Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Wonder of the Seas, can hold an astonishing 7,000 people on board when sailing at full capacity. And that doesn't even include the 2,300 crew members that are needed to operate the ship. With so many people on board, some cruisers feel overwhelmed and maybe like they're trapped on an overcrowded ship. Ships are designed to feel open and ensure passengers don't feel trapped, but those who struggle with claustrophobia might want to reconsider cruising. Researching your cruise ship's capacity and size might also help when choosing the right itinerary. So there you have it. Those are our pros and cons for whether cruising is worth it. Let us know in the comments below if you prefer cruising over other types of vacations. Until then, happy cruising!